Voice Gang Stalking, back here with another video. We are voicing the New World Order, gang stalking. Getting the word out there, the reality that this is happening. This isn't a concept. This isn't a conspiracy concept. This is actively happening in our communities and around the world. So we're talking about the ins and outs of that, how it affects our daily lives, and how we are going to rise above this, and how we do every single day as TIs. They can't keep fooling everyone if we keep talking about it, calling things by their proper names in terms of electronic warfare terminology, also known as torture. So I've been looking and reading a lot about Bush. It's not easy. It's not easy to take. He's quite a douche, this guy. So weapons of mass destruction, you know, the whole, we've heard it a million times. Clearly, the douchebag had them the whole time. Haha, joke's on us. See, they had to say that, of course, to be able to invade, but they had to say that so that they could blow up these, quote, labs that they said were housing these weapons and making these weapons of mass destruction, right? Even though no evidence was ever actually found. And what these, quote, labs were milk factories. And it's just a shame, because now these people, these poor Iraqi people, had nothing that was a little bit of milk source that they had coming in. So now, you know, our government took that away, along with medical supplies. So these people had nothing unless it was coming from us. It's just disgusting when you break down the ins and outs of this New World Order and what went on and took place in order to get us to the point. These people are just crawling, eking on the backs of children, and in order to make this happen, stepping on people, killing people in order to make this happen. Innocent little babies died over there as a result of starving and not being able to get medical care, because it was necessary for security reasons that we blow those things off and cut off those supplies, even though we were fully aware there wasn't a security problem whatsoever. So, yeah, it's just starving people. It's just killing people by the masses. Disgusting. Yeah. So, right. Let's get back onto the mind control technology, shall we? Mind control technology is the #1 complaint on the web, but it gets the least amount of coverage anywhere at all. No coverage. Actually, it does get coverage, but it's just you and I covering it. Huh, really? And that's about it. So who's working on these mind control projects exactly? Who's doing this? Well, you know, you hear the government, or, you know, it's no one person. All right, this is what's so scary about it, guys. It's no one person. These are the open current projects today, okay? DARPA has a sonic projector project. The Army does the voice to skull, as we know. Air Force, microwave technology used to create sounds. Marine Corps has the Medusa project. The State Department, voice to skull as well. And different companies have the hypersound. So basically, you're getting different patented versions of each of these technologies. So it's not, it's definitely a mixed bag here. And not just one, but many entities are working on this actively. And working on these mind control tactics and technologies actively. It's just so foolish how people can say this doesn't exist when you can go see for yourself these patents. And they also say that you can't induce a psychotic behavior or episode in adults. Well, you can, and this is how. And this is exactly how psychiatric fraud is carried out. This is how they're doing it. Oh, that doesn't exist. Oh, okay. So they must just be testing on other people. I guess we're all lying. It's so gross how they've designed this whole new form of schizophrenia around the TI community in order to accommodate our voicings about being abused and tortured. It's like, it used to be schizophrenia. Now it's, just go Wikipedia. It's so frustrating. It's, gang stalking syndrome, they call it. They have a whole new realm that's armed off from the schizophrenia that was originally researched and diagnosed. So they just make up their freaking rules as they go along because people listen to it and follow. They do this crap because it works. So we've got to counteract it with truth. You can't, when you hear truth, there's no denying that. There's just no denying truth. So just, you've got the ultimate weapon. You really, really do. That's why they're fighting so hard against you. That's why it takes them 1,000 weapons to counteract your one. That must be a very powerful weapon you hold. Truth. So the first idea for these weapons of mass torture, these electronic weapons, was to supposedly put the voice of Allah into the minds of what they call our enemies and cause them to surrender. Of course, that's not what they are using it for or even developed it for, clearly. Oh yeah, so during my last video, during the Hotel California experience, there's something that happened I forgot to mention. One thing these people like to do is cut the power out. Have you guys had this happen to you a few times yet? Well, they did that in the hotel. They cut the power out, but of course, just in my room. Interesting. So that was the 5th place that the power had been cut that I'd been at in a month and a half. So coincidence? No, I don't think so. No, highly doubtful. So no, it's the power company, and let me explain exactly why. So I'm not a person sitting here saying, "Oh, the power company's out to get me." No, let me tell you exactly why you should fear your power company. And let me start with the smart meters and the radiation frequencies that these things produce. They're supposed to let off frequencies every 15 minutes. Well, I'm sorry, excuse me. They're supposed to let them off about every 4 hours. They are letting them off about every 15 minutes, sometimes very sporadically. These aren't timed out. It's just at their discretion. They expose us to this dangerous radiation, and they make them mandatory. You're not going to be able to sell your house without one of these. You're going to get a fine if you don't house these smart meters. So, yeah, the power company is absolutely poisoning you. And we know how much control these people have over us and these corporations. That's the power company. These corporations get incentives as a result of Agenda 21. That's how this is made possible. That's why people participate in this. It's not like we're just talking out of thin air here. This is all documented. You can look into all of this. Why a power company would even be doing something so outrageous and corrupt. It can all be explained, and that's what I'm doing here for you. So stemming from these smart meters, power company is just one of the many corrupt corporations as a result of Agenda 21 and the war on terror, which really is just your own government terrorizing you. So for us, it doesn't sound, crazy, because we know the ins and outs of this. But for the average person, the power company having anything to do with a harassment program, it does sound impossible. But that's why we need to keep bringing up Agenda 21, the United Nations, the war on terror, all the links and reasons and documentation that we have stemming down to this harassment program in our local communities here. This is from Local Agenda 21 of the United Nations. Now, as a whole, this is a major fascist movement, all right, of ultimate New World Order and control. It's really easy to get caught up on the gang stalking and the harassment, but that's really what they want. We absolutely have to rise above it and look at the whole big picture here. One of our fellow TIs on True Good Enduring was suggesting something I thought was great. Inviting your perps to testify on your behalf. I loved it. If we can just get one of these guys, and they hate this too, but be careful, because they might take the bait just to mess with you, of course. But for the most part, I think you're going to find that these guys scatter. So let's talk more about putting together a TI community off of the web in a local community. What might that look like for you? A little community of local TI activists. What might that look like? Maybe you could get some great speakers, put together a couple speeches and tutorials on gang stalking and the New World Order and Agenda 21. Start educating the TI community. Because we're not just educating the general public, we're educating our newbies, our little yearlings that are just brand new to our community and trying to figure out what's what and ready to latch on to anything and any synthetic reality that these douches give them. We need to tuck these guys under our wing and get them educated ASAP, because they are on our team. Those are our guys. We need to get them before they're soured, because that's exactly what these people love to do. They just love to just sour and piss all over our team before we can even make one. So we're going to continue to educate everyone, including ourselves and fellow targeted individuals. So a local community might make a weekly trip to the news. I would suggest going every single day. Some of them pan out front at the audience before they're going to commercial. You can stand out there with your t-shirts on, get like 10 of you. Eventually they'll get sick of you and they'll come out and ask you questions. Maybe you can get a little bit of airtime. You can always march. This is something that is going to take us coming together really in more of a whole, but a peaceful protest, or in a weekly city council team. Go down to your city council. Go bug the hell out of these guys. Make it like that team's job. All right, so you have a TI community. Make one team in charge of getting news airtime. Make one team in charge of going to the city council. All right, and then you meet a few times a week back. And also, I wanted to mention you guys, local radio stations. Hey, these local radio stations are a tool we are not using, TIs. Let's start calling them, getting late night guest slots when possible. Radio. Even if it's just calling in and being obnoxious and talking about gang stalking and getting the word out there. This is something that can absolutely be jerked around with by perps. However, not an excuse. Call your radio station. Go to your city council. That gentleman, also had another suggestion about getting an attorney. And anything that you are awarded when suing these stalkers, these local stalkers, he will go straight to your attorney because we just want peace anyway, right? So that is a good suggestion on how to pay for an attorney, seeing how most of us are destitute as a result of this program. Okay, that's about it. Don't forget who you are. Do not let this shit make you sour. It's designed to cause you to hate your fellow man. You have got to rise above that.